Hi grade 5s, you have made it to chapter 1, lesson 1, and today is an exploration lesson as you can see by the blue bar at the top. We're going to be exploring 2D patterns. Your goal is to use models and T-charts to record, extend, and make predictions about number patterns. So basically, you're going to make a pattern and then you're going to make it longer. You're probably going to need grid paper, two colored counters. Here's an example of how to actually make a 2D pattern and when this would actually happen in real life. Alan is a star. He is creating a design for his name to appear in lights. As you can see, here's Alan's name in lights. How many light bulbs do you need for a letter design? That's going to be something that we're going to be exploring today. How many light bulbs are we going to actually need to make a letter design? But before we do that, let's take a look at what Alan does. Alan says, I will make a model with counters. And as you can see on the side here, he makes a model with counters and his name starts with A, so he makes a letter for A. I start with the letter A. To see what a larger letter looks like, I add counters. Each time I make a larger size, I place the new counters red side up so I can see what I changed. As you can see over here, he starts off, well, these look white, but with the yellow counters, and then he adds the red counters to show which ones are his new ones. I add two counters to the arm of the A. So the arm of the A over here, and two counters to the middle bar. And there's your middle bar, and he describes it pretty well. So he has his middle bar and his two arms. I record each side on grid paper in a T-chart. So as you can see, he's using two strategies. He's modeling it and he's using a T-chart. Here's his model, which he calls size 1. And over here he puts size and the number 1 to refer to this model over here. And then beside his size 1, he puts the number of light bulbs that he's using. So over here he has 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so he puts the number 6. And then again he extends into size 2. Today I'm also going to introduce you two new terms. These terms are the word term, which in this case will mean the total number of counters, and then term number, which in this case equals the position of the term. So for our chart, if I was to rewrite our chart again, instead of putting the word size, I would use the word term and number. And for me to write on here, it's a little difficult. That is term number, as writing over here. And over here, instead of number of light bulbs, I could actually use the word term. I could use the word term over here as well. But so I just want you to be familiar with those two words because you can also use them in math as your math language. Now his final thing that he's going to say is his pattern rule. So his pattern rule, start with 6 light bulbs or 6 bulbs and add 6 each time. And again, he starts with 6 as you can see over here, and then he adds 6 each time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's your challenge today. Can you make the letter of your name into lights? So basically you're going to be using counters which you have in class. And please start with the yellow as your base. So if any letter you make, you might run into a little difficulty with the curved letters, such as a J. So if it's curved, I think the strategy that we can use is make the J as straight as possible. So make J using straight lines. So in this case, I would get my original counters and I make a J using straight lines. That's one example. And remember, this is an exploration lesson, so please explore and be creative. Here's an example of what the J could look like. So this is my original J, and then I'm going to add counters to it. So again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on my original, and I'm going to add 2 more at the top arm and 2 more at the bottom arm. So remember to describe this. So in total I added 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to show this, of course, in a graph, in a chart, in a T-chart, so I can actually talk about it. It'll be easier to refer to. So as you can see, if I take what my model and put it in a chart, my first title of my T-chart would be size, which I could also call my term number. And over here would be my number of light bulbs, 7. So my first one is number 1, my first size, and then this is my number 2, my second size. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 over here, and then I add 1, 2, 3, 4. So 7 plus 4 will give me 11. So my second term will be 11 number of light bulbs. So remember, strategies that we're using to solve this problem are model, draw, and T-chart. So if you use the modeling, is the thing is to draw it is easier to show it. So that's why I would like you to draw it as well. So yeah, you can draw your model, but please use your counters in class. Practice actually making your letter in lights. Let's try my letter M. So this would be an example of how I can make the letter M. I would start off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 counters, which would be my original. And then I would have to add my counters, and I would use red to add the counters. So I could do this in a number of ways, but I've decided to do it just like this. So if you see my new model, I added 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 new counters. I added 2 to the middle and 2 to the outside arms. My next sheet would be adding 4 more on top of that. So it would look something like this. Again, I added 2 more to the middle and then 2 more to the side arms. So that's basically it. Have fun exploring letters and making your letter name in lights. Remember, just use the first letter in your name, and please complete letters A, B, C, D in your textbook in Chapter 1, Lesson 1 workbook for homework. Good luck and have fun learning.